I know I don't want to make this racial, but I'm gonna.
Good.
Yeah. I think for some reason or another, and I never asked for this role, but I've become sort of like Yoda in the comedy club scene. You know what I mean? Where like young comics come up to me with problems.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I don't know why that is. You know, but
you know what my first thought?
What?
My first thought that went into my head when you said that, when you shared that, it's like, that would be a great show. How can I monetize that? You'd be like, but it was like Bobby as Yoda, and young comics come to you with like, you know,
like just with all kinds of things. Like, why would you even think that I even knew about that?
Because you bare your soul online.
So in that
they
way,
trust you.
Yeah, I guess. But in that way, I guess I can help young people. You know what I mean? And
but what do you say to them? What do you say to them?
Give me a scenario.
Hey Bobby, I had a lot of trauma too. I'm really depressed. Sometimes I feel like killing myself, and I can't just sustain a relationship. I just hook up with girls at comedy clubs, and I feel like a piece of shit all the time. What do I do?
Well, I mean, it's complicated that one, but let me try to address it, right? Because there's a lot of things like if you're hooking up a lot, maybe you have a sexual addiction too. Is that what the situation is?
I don't know.
I'm talking to you. That you're the one with the problem.
I'm playing a fictitious.
I know, but stay in the role.
Okay. My name is Carl McWhorter.
No, you already did that. I already know you, Carl. That's why you came up to me.
Yeah.
Why you give me your name again?
I don't know. I don't know what a sex addiction is. Maybe I do. I don't know.
Okay, now I'm going to get out. All right, the scene. But when I want to say
end scene.
When I want to, what I would ask about, I wouldn't need specifics on what's going on. Yeah. Right. So number one, it's like, is there a sexual thing involved? Like, do you have like a sexual addiction of some sort? All right. Mm-hmm. Number two, I want to know the frequency of your drug usages, and I also want to know the history of your mental health and in terms of your depression and stuff. And I would ask about, traumatic events that happened as a child, and with all that information, then I would come up with maybe my best guess. You know what I mean? Solution. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's like, I don't know. When it comes to drug addiction and alcoholism, you know what I mean? The only thing I would take them to a meeting. Mm-hmm. Because for me, it's like you get a lot from 12 steps, right? You get spirituality, you get a group, which is, huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, back when, Bill and Bob started AA, essentially they didn't have the book then, but they realized that when they hung out with each other, they talked about their experience, strength, and hope, right? That they were able to get some numbers under their belt, in terms of days. So it's like, you got to be around people.
Well, speaking of that, I sent an article this morning to my producer, Kartik, about, in The Atlantic, it was talking about how Americans aren't assembling anymore. Alex de Tocqueville, the famous essayist,
wow, that's interesting.
Came to the United States 150 years ago, and he was like, Americans are gathering, it's a marvel. They'll have farm communities and the Moose Lodge and the churches and the Veterans Association and the Neighborhood Watch and Cleanup Association. And, Americans just love to gather. And like, we're not assembling anymore. We're not gathering anymore. We're so isolated because of our devices and our machines. Culturally, they've done these studies that more and more isolation. Loneliness is an epidemic. Suicide is an epidemic. But one of the great things about comedy clubs, it's people in a fucking room together laughing. Yeah. Like, it's a good place to start, and we need more comedy clubs.
Well, I go not to do comedy, too. It's like, that's where I see Neil, you know what I mean? All my friends and stuff, right? Yeah. So it's like, I go to
Neil Brennan?
Yeah, Neil Brennan.
He was on the show. He did a lot better than you did.
He's smarter. I didn't go to college.
He's smarter.
Yeah.
He's very smart.
I was pretty mean, dude. Anyway,
that's what we do. See, that's what we do,
fun.
Folks.
That's fun.
In case any of you new age woo-woo weirdos are watching the show.
Yeah.
Cut that.
But that's why I go. I go to see,
Yeah, so let's go back to the comedy club. You go there to see your friends.
Yeah, it's like, I know Whitney's pregnant, so I'm going to go and see the, touch the belly, or whatever, or I don't know what they do, but.
I wrote Whitney to see if she'd come on my show. She didn't text me back.
I'm going to get her on the show.
Can you text her and let her know?
Whatever you want.
That's cool. That's kosher.
Who do you want? I got it.
Michelle Obama.
I can't get her. I can get Whitney, though. That's all.
He winked.
Yeah.
But seriously,
That's amazing.
Communities breaking down.
I never thought about that, but I think you're right.
And because we've also jettisoned churches for a very good reason, right?
Yeah.
So America has really turned its back on organized, quote unquote, organized religion.
Yeah.
We're spiritual but not religious, young people.
But I have to say, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
So I met this girl on Hinge, dating app.
Yeah.
And she goes, I go to church.
There should be a dating app called Unhinged.
Like for Karens or people know about this.
for people like you.
Oh. Okay, so
Unhinged.
So and because I was trying to get laid, I was like, I'll go to church with you, you know? So it was in Venice. And I went, I swear to God, dude. I was like, this is amazing.
That's awesome.
Because it wasn't about...
Yeah, it wasn't about being saved and
it
hell
was
and born
about
again.
People
and
like, you know
singing together.
Yeah, and also like turn to your neighbor, shake their hands. I love when they do that.
Yeah.
I go, hello, my name is Bob. You know, whatever you say, you know, whatever your name is, fill in the blank. But I'm just saying, you turn around, you know what I mean? So it's great, you know what I mean? And there was, and I for the first time, I understood why they go.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the religion itself doesn't make any sense, and you know what I mean? You know, and I just never. But
it makes a little sense. If you break it down, Jesus was really wise and awesome, and had a lot of great things to teach us.
Yeah.
And
I think I'm more talking about like the social issue judgments that they have. You know what I mean? Like
the dogmas,
gay marriage, and all that kind of stuff. It just drives me crazy. But I understood for the first time when, oh, this is like me going to an AA meeting, or this is me like going to the Comedy Store. It's communal. It's, you know, seeing your friends, and it's positive as well. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, they're talking about positive things. You know what I mean? So I understand why people go now.
Yeah.
I didn't get laid anyway. I didn't get laid. It's hard, you know, it's hard to don't date a Christian because you have to join it, I think.
The Soul Boom Podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you get your stupid podcasts.